Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you an Imperial Knights video. So, Imperial Knights got a couple of changes, to keep them in line with Chaos Knights for the most part. I gotta admit that a week or so that Chaos Knights were T11 and cheaper, and Imperial Knights were T12 but more expensive. Was a little bit weird, but GW said, "Hey, we gotta fix that before Codex drop because it's looking like it might be a while for whatever reason." I'm hearing that the next one coming up is the Black Templar supplement. Correct? Somebody fact check that. But to go with their lower toughness, the armatures went down to 9. The Questores went down from, sorry, T10 to T9 for armatures, Questores T12 to T11, and Dominus T13 to T12, right? Um, and with that, they made the points cheaper and gave them more wounds. Now, I think I hate it. I think it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Imperial Knights have been pretty good recently, and by recently I mean quite some time. And I'm just still surprised. Like, I don't know. People keep trying to go like Imperial Knights aren't a real army, and I'm like, I don't know. They're winning like a real army, so that's a lot. That's a lot of trophies and names for the past 4 months. You'd be looking at this like, let's look at somebody else. Like Grey Knights, man, that they're struggling. Okay, uh, Votan, yeah. So it doesn't really come close. With arguing that Imperial Knights just don't really count, because man, they are pretty good apparently. But yeah, I seeing Canis Rex be below 400 points is kind of fucking wild. Same with the Knight Castellan and the Knight Valiant. But to that end, let's talk about what this does. Also, a funny thing that I noticed, they just one, two, three, four. Yeah, they don't have Unyielding Paragon as the detachment enhancements on the MFM for whatever reason. So, if you're wondering what that one is, it's 40 points. And actually, let's talk about it here. Them being cheaper means that you can probably take the enhancements now, as well as bringing, another big one. But you all were more frequent than the Chaos Knights bringing uh, one that wasn't just Canis Rex. Canis Rex was first, then somebody else joined along. But to that point, you can now take the enhancements. The one that we've most seen played is Mysterious Guardian, 25 points, Imperial Knights model only. The bearer has the Deep Strike ability. Once per battle, at the end of your opponent's turn, if the bearer is not within engagement range of any enemy units, it can fade away. If it does, remove it from the battlefield, then in the reinforcement step of your subsequent movement phase, set it up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches horizontally away from all enemy models. If the battle ends and the bearer is not on the battlefield, it is destroyed. Alright, so uh, that's a deep striking Imperial Knight. That's pretty scary. But let's talk about the other enhancements because they might. And let's start with the one that I probably not. 15 points, revered Knight. Aura. Imperial Knights model only, while friendly Imperial Knights model is within 6 inches of the bearer. Improve that model's leadership characteristic by 1. If your army is honored, increase the range of this aura to a foot. Not doing that. Mythic Hero, 25 points. Questoris model with a bondsman ability only. Each time the bearer uses its bondsman ability, you can select one additional friendly armature model within a foot of the bearer that is not already being affected by a bondsman ability. Until the start of your next command phase, that model is also affected by that bondsman ability. I think that's nice, but I don't think it's the second one that you take after Mysterious Guardian. Banner, a Macarius Triumph. Macarius? Lord Solar Macarius? Sure, let's go with that. 30 points. Imperial Knights model only. If you control an objective marker at the end of your command phase and the bearer is within range of that objective marker remains under your control even if you have no model within range of it until your opponent controls it at the start or end of any turn. Sticky. That's pretty good. Chaos Knights like it. I'd say that you can enjoy it. Is it first up? Probably not, but it's not bad. And then finally, Unyielding Paragon, 40 points, Questora's model only. Each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, worsen the AP characteristic of that attack by 1. So, 40 points. That means that, you can get, let's just say a T11, 3 up, say, 5 up in Vuln, 26 wounds. Uh, Knight, minus 1 AP for all attacks going into it. Yeah, it's gonna stick. And because you're playing Noble Lance, 6 up feel no pain, that can possibly be a 5 up feel no pain. So, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. Now, past what we've already seen, I do think that it was already a pain that, or an equal trade-off, I should say. I think people realize with Chaos Knights that, well, I know people realize with Chaos Knights that it's a it's around the same, if not better, to have lower toughness but more wounds. You're looking at the last cannon shots that did wound you on 4s, wounding you on 3s, but they're D6 plus 1. Uh, you were hoping that they have D6 plus 3 now, essentially. Something like that. Not accurately on 3, but just saying that's going to take a lot more to get through. So yeah, they wound on 3s, but that other damage roll needs to go through it. One thing that I was kind of noticing is that it's now impossible for my Tyran effects to one-shot a knight because it's D6 plus 6. So at 24, yeah, I'm still going to be struggling out there. So it's weird, but mind you, now my Mallet Scepter has an easier time dealing with Armigers and War Dogs. Don't think that that's a great trade-off because it's still damage 3d6 plus 3. So again, going from 4s but needing more shots, it's kind of hard because especially when you need more shots, it's almost like having -1 to wound in a sense that, well, it's going to take another die roll. So, I guess -1 to hit, maybe? I don't know. Either way, looking at Noble Lance having 5 of Feel No Pain and Chaos Knights again, I know this isn't the Chaos Knight video, but them having access to -1 to be hit outside of 18 or versus Battle Shock, I think that this durability skew is a little bit more terrifying than I thought, and I like seeing big knights on the table. So I am kind of excited to see this rumored 6 abominants, 6 aberrant, excuse me, abhorrent chaos knights. I think I'm ready to see triple Questoris. I think that or whatever the hell the big ones are. But yeah, I think I'm ready to see that. Because Canis Rex, fuck it, Castellan and Gallant? Maybe. Either way, I think that that's pretty insane, and then a couple of armatures. And I say 3 because I just think that you now can make a good case for bringing a couple of these enhancements and going out your way to do so. Unyielding Paragon, Mysterious Guardian, and Sticky just seems like that's good. But hey, who knows? But past that, I want to talk about Questor Forge Pack for a little bit because it might have more play as well. Now, you trade the 5 potential, 5 up feel no pain, for regenerating wounds. And if you can give a 28 wound Knight Castellan, that's T12, 3 up, 5 up invuln versus range, right? Your character, you can give this bad boy in Questor Forge Pack 4 more wounds with Omniscient Champion for 30 points. Now, 32 wounds regenerating at T12. Pretty fucking annoying. So yeah, that's kind of wild to think about having to deal with. Like, I guess you could say that having the damage from Catan kind of puts it. I'm sorry, is it half or -1? It's been a while since I've had to look at Catan sheets like that. And I say that as somebody who likes Necrons. Whoops. Um, but just going on that one, it's half, right? Anywho, damage reduction and then regenerating on theirs, I guess you could say, is somewhere in the ballpark, but fuck, I don't want to have to deal with that being a thing while having little shitters with anti-infantry 4-up guns. It's 0 AP. Who gives a fuck? But re-rolling ones, re-roll wound rolls of 1 if around Imperial Knights. Uh, just to handle the other shit, and then the big shit regenerates. So, maybe you take less Warglaves, and maybe it, I don't know. Do you give up the Helverds first or the Warglaves? I think you give up the Warglaves first, personally. But give up the Warglaves, fit some of this random bullshit in there. Magos, Questoris, 35 points. You make attack priest, low up near an Imperial Knight, and regenerate 2 lost wounds instead of the 1. That's cool. But all of that, giving your stuff access to Overwatch essentially, because your Titanic can't do that Overwatch shenanigans, but it looks pretty interesting. Give a 5 up Feel No Pain versus Mortals. It's not as good as a 5 up Feel No Pain, of course. Oh, and I guess I should also remind that you still have access to re-rolling 1 hit, and you can re-roll 1 wound roll. Uh, to just do things, if you lay low the Tyrant, I don't think there's a reason for you to start specking into Reclaim the Realm anytime soon. But who knows at this point? I'm just kind of flabbergasted. I'm kind of floored that they went this route. Um, and it makes it harder to complain when you're just like, my Norn should be T12, when they're obviously trying to make that down, because I guess it's harder in the sense that I guess they probably put more last cannon equivalents in the game, like no shit, than they did data sheets that were T12. So realizing that some armies really just have no real option besides trying to wound a stat check on 4s, so 50% chance of making that die roll is kind of shit. Now, you go up to 3 ups on the wound, so 66.6 repeating, 6, 7, whatever chance, because now you have 3, 4, 5, 6. Just don't roll a 1 or a 2, and you're doing comparable damage into them on your Hail Marys. Canis Rex, I still can't believe I'm looking at sub 400 for crits on 5, sustain hits 1 on everything you do, and if you use a stratagem on it, reduce the cost, stratagem on them, reduce the cost by 1 command point. Like, that's a little bit silly, but even further than that, uh, I guess also going back to the army rule one more time, free blades, you can now slot these motherfuckers everywhere. So while Chaos was taking Rodriguez in some things, or Rodriguez in some things, because let's be real, everybody just, if they were going to take a Chaos Demon, it was Rodriguez. And nobody was taking any of the Chaos Knights, really, except for maybe the occasional Despoiler. Now this means every army that has an issue can take a Canis. I don't like that. Every army that has an issue can take a Knight Castellan. I don't like that. Um, because it's cheap enough, and I do think it's worth the points. So looking at something like Admech, who kind of used to take a Imperial Knight, mainly Canis Rex, or not saying that this should happen, but it could happen. You're already pressed for points in Custodes, but quite frankly, I don't want to find out what it's like to get the lions unleashed against me while having to circle jerk fucking Canis Rex in the back. Don't really like that. Um, and I'm being hyperbolic. I really don't give a shit, but it is just an interesting state of the game that now it is a very real thing to have to worry about an Imperial Knight in a lot of these Imperium armies. Like, I don't think do Space Marines give up the oath if that's the case. They do give up the bonus oath, so I believe, right? So while I'm not going to see double oath Gilliman also have Canis Rex, anybody that was trying to be a little bit unique, a little bit quirky, uh, now that's Gilliman points, right? Looking at something like Wrath of the Rock, Dark Angels, where people are realizing that it's still just better. It's not bad, but uh, again, I think that some people drastically tried to play it down for whatever reason, and from what I'm hearing, a lot of people are realizing, yeah, this actually, man, the units that are hard to kill getting harder to kill makes them hard to kill. And if I can just play the game because my unit is hard to kill, I can win the game. That's that. And I gotta give credit. That wasn't Dark Angel players. You all have been more understanding of that point. It's everybody else that's like, oh, like they're not the flashiest rules, but there's still a good set of rules for units that have good data sheets. So, Wrath of the Rock maybe dropping the Lion and putting in Canis Rex is fucking weird, right? And then some Deathwing Knights, Inner Circle Companions, all of that jazz. So I'm not too ecstatic to see a lot of this shit. Hell, maybe Sisters. Sisters need armor popping things. Uh, maybe Sisters. I just had a goofy thought. More involved in the Paragon War suits. Castellan. Yeah, hey, I think it's kind of goofy on there. AdMech need help on that front. But yeah, it's Astra Militarum. Man, they have enough things. But yeah, Imperial Night Change. I I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if we finally go, yeah, Imperial Knight's hurt. Like I don't know what happens because if this doesn't do it, I don't know why. What else might? But them being cheaper and then fitting in essentially another armature, uh, or just taking enhancements, and you go, okay, this is upsetting. Maybe. And I'm not saying everybody has to nerf the Imperial Knights anytime soon. I'm just saying they've been better than they get credit for, and this just looks like this makes them even better. So, yeah. If you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.